The budget enthusiast.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you standing there. What's going on? Yo, I'm just chilling here playing some Street Fighter 5 with my boy Chucky over here. He just smoked me, got a perfect KO. I mean, it is what it is. He's the man. But hey, while you're here, you want to hear a little bit about some Xbox and some PlayStation 5 stuff? So I just recently got them, so I'm just trying to get used to them and find out all the quirks. And if you're interested, I can tell you a little bit about how I feel about them. Oh, hey, awesome. But stay tuned, and you're going to learn a little bit about the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Coming right on up. Alright, so we're going to start off with the PS5. So this was the hardest system to get out of the ones that I have. I had to go through one of my homeboys who knew somebody who could get one. So it was a long process. But look, it's cool. I got it. So thankful, and shout out to my boy. He knows who he is if he's watching this video. But look, check this out. So we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5. So I have some notes over on this side here that I'm going to glance at from time to time just so I can stay on track. Because, you know, I don't do scripted videos. So it's just bullet points that I need to talk about. And I'm just going, whatever comes off the top of the dome is the way it's going to be. So we're going to start off with the PS5. So first off, we're going to talk about the design. So it's one of the pros. So we do pros and cons. Pros, starting off. Pros for the PS5 are definitely the look. I love the look of the unit. It's huge, but it's striking. So look, I got one right here. So let me grab this thing. I gotta go to the gym just to lift it up. So look, check this out, y'all. Check this out. Like, this thing is huge. So you gotta zoom back a little bit just so you can see it. Now, this is all angles, and I have the disc version. So I need to be able to play my old PS4 games. Well, I can't really say old because some of them were purchased fairly recently. Like, I got Guardians of the Galaxy that was purchased recently. But I mean, look at this thing. If I put this thing on the shoulder, like, I'm gonna need surgery to repair my shoulder after this. This thing is huge, but it's definitely a pro for me. I like the look of the console. It definitely is striking. If somebody walks into your crib and they see that, they're gonna know that it's a PS5. With the Xbox, I mean, they may know just because you got the Xbox logo there, but for the most part, that design is a little bland. We'll see that later on in the video. So, pro, the design, love it. Okay, next pro, the DualSense controller. Man, oh my god, like this controller, y'all. This controller is so beautiful, and it's just a magic controller. Like, using this controller and feeling the haptic feedback, it's like no other. Like, it's amazing. So the controller is definitely a pro. It's magical, man. It's magical. I love everything about this controller, from like it has the standard PlayStation D-pad. So, you know, I'm used to that. I love it for fighting games. The analog sticks feel great. The buttons feel nice and solid. The triggers. Now the triggers are adaptive, so when you're playing certain games, when you pull the trigger, like if you're out of ammo in certain games, it won't let you pull the trigger all the way down. And like when I was playing Guardians of the Galaxy, it gives you feedback to let you know that Peter Quill's shooters are out of ammo and you gotta let them recharge. And it, oh man, it just feels wonderful. So another pro is definitely that controller. So let's see what we got up next. Oh, the user interface. The user interface is like super clean. It's no random crap all over the place, but they do start putting like a little showcase thing at the very beginning. Like when you first turn it on, the first block is like a showcase thing. And I mean, whatever. It gets me, I can get over to the things that I need to get over, you know, to play or whatnot, or the store. One thing I do enjoy is that the PlayStation Store is not its own separate, like you don't have to click on it and wait for it to load. Once you highlight the PlayStation Store, you just scroll down and then the store is like right there for you. It's like all one seamless thing. The old PS4 and PS3, you had to click on it and then it opened, you gotta wait for it to open up the store, and sometimes it was like slow and clunky, but this one's a little bit more seamless. I do enjoy that. So that's definitely a pro, the user interface. Let's see. Starting the game. Starting games is like dumb fast. If you are playing a PlayStation 5 game, like for instance, the PlayStation 5 version of Miles Morales, when you go to it, you click on it. I mean, that bad boy just, it's, you count maybe like 3-4 seconds and you're at the main screen. And then once you hit that, you click continue and then you count maybe 2 or 3 seconds and you're right back where you left off. It is phenomenal. The speed on the SSD inside of these things is game changing, like for real. Like I thought it was just, I knew solid state drives were dope because we use them at work for certain computers, but playing video games and something that needs to load a lot of assets quickly, man, it's I love it. I love it. So the SSD is definitely a pro. So for me, another pro is that it feels actually next gen. So like from the speed of the SSD to the interface and the controller, they just all feel next gen. They don't feel like last gen stuff just graphically upgraded. Like this controller just feels like a whole new thing. Like it just feels like it belongs in the next generation of controllers, man. From the speaker to the microphone built into it, from the adaptive triggers, the haptic feedback, all that stuff just makes this feel next generation. And I love the fact that the user interface also has, you know, it's done in 4K and HDR, so it does look really nice when you're going through all your stuff. So that is definitely a pro. It feels next gen from the controller to the user interface, next gen all the way around. High refresh rates, all that sexy stuff. Oh, yes. Another thing that's a pro, you can add your own extra storage. So you can have storage two different ways. The first way is by just using all your PS4 games on an external hard drive that you probably had on your PS4. You just plug that right on up and you will have your games, which is cool. You can play your PS4 games right off that hard drive without using up the precious storage space inside the unit. But you can't play PS5 games off of it. So you would have to put your PS5 games on an internal storage, which is cool because if you run out, you can always buy extra. And that's why this is a pro. You have to find the specific solid state drive that you can put in there, but you can upgrade it. If you ballin', you can get a 4 terabyte one for like $500-600. But for everybody else, you probably just do the 1 terabyte one, save up a little bit, pay the $220 and pop it into your system. And now you have what, a terabyte? Like what's that? So you get a terabyte and maybe a half, because I think you get like 600 gigs or something on the internal storage here. So yeah, you'll get about a gig and a half, a terabyte and a half of storage space on here if you add a terabyte SSD. So not too bad. I mean, it's not great, You can buy those external hard drives, get like a 4 terabyte one, but SSDs, of course, are more expensive. So, and this is kind of a new concept. So once you get that, you can pop it in there and upgrade your storage, lickety split. So they have a boost mode for PlayStation 4 games. So some of the games that you pop in here from PlayStation 4 will get a frame rate boost or sometimes graphical fidelity boost, and they look and play a little bit better. It's helpful. There's certain games that suffered tremendously from bad frame rates because of the hardware that the PS4 had, and now with the PS5, if that frame rate boost is activated, you can actually upgrade and maybe run it at 60 frames a second, and it's a lot smoother experience to your older games. Pretty cool. Not all games do that. Some games play just like they did on the PS4, but there's some games that are updated and, you know, they play a little bit better. Like the frame rate is uncapped so that it can reach its maximum potential on the system. So that's pretty cool. That's definitely a pro. So another one, side plates. You can customize your system. I like to customize all my systems. You probably can see my Xbox over here somewhere. I like to customize my stuff. So I went out before Sony even came out officially with their Cosmic Red plates. You know, as you saw, I got the Cosmic Red side plates for mine. They're pretty easy. You just pop them off and pop the new ones back on. So I do enjoy that you can kind of customize your system and make it look a little bit different than the standard white. I'm not a big fan of white electronics. Don't say I'm racist in the comments, but I don't like the look of white, the white components. I feel like, especially with controllers definitely don't need to be white. As like the oils from your hands get on it. I'm actually very delicate with my electronics, and I hate when you go to someone's house and you see their controller and it's all gross and stuff. A white controller is going to show that dirt like tenfold. It's gross. So having different colors, like they have the Cosmic Red controller, and you could do that. And I actually have a black one, so I have a red and a black one. I got rid of the white controller. I traded that in and used that money towards the black controller because I don't like white controllers. I don't like the look of the system. Was cool with the black and white, but I definitely prefer non-white components. Like the receivers are black, the DVD players are black, remote controls are black. I feel like it hides a lot of the flaws and dirt that we'll get from everyday use. So I definitely prefer a color or just a straight black component. So that's why I went ahead and got the Cosmic Red faceplates, because I like the way those look. And the Cosmic Red is a different color. It's not like the standard red. So it's pretty cool. So those are my side plates, and I love the fact that you can customize that. So it's definitely a pro. High dynamic range, HDR, and 120 hertz. Definitely a pro. They look awesome. 120 frames a second. I didn't think that was going to make a difference when they first announced that they're going to target 4K 120 hertz in the system. I'm like, yo, I mean, I'm cool with 60 frames a second. That looks good to me. But playing a game in 120 hertz makes a big difference. So I played, was it Dirt 5? I played Dirt 5 and put it in 120 frames a second. Yeah, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. I can't wait to play the Uncharted, what is it? The new Uncharted update for PS5 that they have a mode in Uncharted 4 that allows you to play it in 120 hertz. I think both of them, Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, I think you can play them both in 120 hertz. They have a specific mode. I can't wait to play that because I know at 30 frames a second it wasn't too bad, but I know 120 hertz is going to be absolutely amazing because those games already look great and the motion on them is really good, but having that extra frame rate is going to definitely help. It's called the Legacy of Thieves collection. That's what it's called. I had to, my hard drive, man, I'm using a platter drive where everything is using SSDs these days, but my brain is still running on a platter drive, so I had to pull it out. Anyway, Legacy of Thieves collection is going to have 120 hertz mode. I can't wait to play it. It's going to be amazing. That collection is going to be great anyway. I love all the Uncharted games, and I've beaten them all, so I might end up going back through Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy. So, you know, there we go. So, HDR, 120 hertz is a massive pro. And actually, the last one is 4K Blu-ray support, man. Like, I personally do not use this system as a end-all be-all entertainment thing. I prefer to have separate components because not everything does everything well. So like Roku to me is it's maybe the best streaming platform. While my games are good on the PlayStation, but I also have a Sony 4K Blu-ray player. I feel that those things have their purpose. And having everything all in one, it's gonna do things decent, but it's not gonna do everything perfect. So I keep my stuff separate. But for people who don't, having a built-in 4K Blu-ray player in here will open up the realm of you maybe purchasing a 4K Blu-ray here and there. I know most people do streaming. I'm still a physical media guy. I have a bunch of movies over here. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my other videos. I usually am facing that direction. Well, they're usually to my back so you can see them. And I have a movie collection, all physical media, all Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays. It's cool that they put that in there. It's about time. They should have put that in the PS4 Pro. But, hey, can't do anything about that. But right now, it's one in there. So folks who purchase this will be able to pop in 4K Blu-rays and enjoy them on their 4K HDR TV. So that's pretty awesome. It's about time. So that's it for the pros. So now we're gonna talk a little bit about some cons up in here, and there's a few. And I've owned this system for maybe a month or two now. So I've gotten good use out of it. Played some games, messed around with some stuff, changed some settings, got it hooked up for 120 hertz, did all this stuff. I'm a PlayStation veteran. Had them since the first one on up to now, so I kind of know what to expect. So, moving on to the cons. So the first con, let's see what we got here on the docket. Looks like, oh man, this hurt. So I used to love on the PS4 that you can have those dynamic themes. Like sometimes you buy a game or you buy a digital game and it comes with a theme for that. And I think that's awesome. And they stopped those themes right now. So you can't do any dynamic themes. Pretty much the artwork of your game is going to be your background. So when you scroll over Miles Morales, it's going to have the splash page for that, and then it's going to have it's going to play a little bit of music from the game on that. Not every game does that, but most games do, and that's going to be the background for your system. Not a big fan of it. Not a big fan. I like the static dynamic background that I choose. I select it, and it's good. I can like back in the day, you can put those screenshots from your games on there. It's awesome, but they took that away, so now you just got album artwork, as I like to call it. But it's just the game art for it. Yeah, it's, it is what it is. But that's definitely a con. I wish they would bring back the dynamic themes. So next one is going to be lack of Dolby Vision for gaming and lack of Dolby Atmos, bro. So this goes to me talking about it feeling next gen. Now, yes, it does feel next gen, but it has a big but beside it. So you can't do Dolby. It doesn't support Dolby Vision gaming, and it doesn't support Dolby Atmos. Like, we are in 2022. I would this tablet that I'm looking at right here. I have a Samsung tablet on here. It's an S6 Lite, and it has the S Pen and everything. This thing has Dolby Atmos sound on it. Once you activate it, those two speakers that are on the side make it feel like it makes it feel open and airy. It's really cool, and the voices feel like they're coming directly at you, but the rest of the sound like they're just floating in the air. It's amazing. This $500 piece of equipment that plays sophisticated games and 4K Blu-rays and all this stuff doesn't support Dolby Vision gaming or Dolby Atmos gaming. What in the world are you doing, Sony? I know you don't want to pay the licenses for each individual console to have that technology built into it. But geez Louise, man. Like, you got your competitor. You got the Xbox right here. This has both. It has Dolby Vision gaming and it has Dolby Atmos. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't understand. It's very frustrating. So, yes, you get 5.1 Dolby surround sound out of it. But dude, like, you got to go into the menus and do all this extra stuff just to get it set up right for it. It's nope, pain in the butt, man. Pain in the butt. Then the Dolby Vision gaming, I can see that HDR10 is a standard, so HDR10 looks fine. And even there are some people like on YouTube, Vincent Tio, he found out that Dolby Vision gaming sometimes makes your games worse than if they were in HDR10. I mean, hey, that's fine, but dude, give me the option. Give me the option to have Dolby Vision on my games. And give me Dolby Atmos. There's no, like, this 3D audio that Sony is talking about is cool, but it only really works for headphones or TV speakers. Who use it? I don't use TV speakers. I think most people now have sound bars. Not a lot of people use TV speakers anymore. So you're wasting your efforts on that there. You should, if you're going to do the 3D audio, you should at least make it so that it can come through nicely on surround sounds. They say there's an update coming later, but I didn't buy the product for something that's coming later. I bought the product so I could play my games and do my stuff now. And you don't give me the next generation sound that we all deserve. So people with surround sounds, you're kind of getting shafted because you're just getting basic 5.1. And my receiver will take my high channels and actually give them some information. So it feels like an Atmos track, but it's not directional. It's just sound coming from there. It makes it feel like it's not the same. It's not the same. Not the same. Where is the Dolby Atmos? Or at least your special 3D audio for home theaters. Let's do that. Headphones are cool. TV speakers are not really cool, but okay. Give us some surround sound on here, Sony. Give us a surround sound. Alright, so a big con for me is the fact they don't have those two features. Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos for games. Alright. Next up is the battery life on this controller. Now, told you how much I love this controller, y'all. I love this controller a lot. But, the battery life is not that great. The battery life is about equal to me as it was on the PS4, which still isn't great. I know this particular model, it has a bigger battery than the PS4 one, but it also has the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback and all that stuff. So it will wear your controller out. So I could play the Xbox. I could play a couple of hours, throw the Xbox controller down, come back, maybe a day later, play another 3-4 hours, put the controller down. I could do that same routine for about maybe a week and a half before the battery indicator when you first turn the system on maybe has lost maybe 2 or 3 bars. That's crazy. This thing, you play one good solid session, especially a game that has a lot of haptic feedback. Oh, it's gone in like 3 hours, maybe 4. Like easy. And you have to charge it up. Luckily, I could just pop it on the charger and then just grab my other controller and keep it moving. But dude, that's not good. That's not good. But I do appreciate the fact that it has built-in battery, unlike the Xbox. I do appreciate that. But anyway. So that is definitely a con. The battery life on the controller could use a little bit of work, but it's all right. Let's see, the PS4 to PS5 upgrade system. Oh my God. So Xbox has smart delivery. So if you have a version that if you have the Xbox One version that has a Xbox Series S or X version, once you put the disc in, it's like blammo, it's done. Like, hey, we'll go ahead and upgrade, unless the manufacturer is like, the developers of the game or the parent company of the game, like, nah, we want you to pay a fee. Other than that, you pop the disc in, it gives you an update, and it works. But with PlayStation, it's not that simple. I can put in, like, for instance, I put in Guardians of the Galaxy when I first got my PS5 because I love that game and I wanted to finish it on the PS5. So I put that game in, and it just simply loaded up the PS4 version. It didn't even like prompt me to say, hey, there's a PS5 version available. Do you want it? Nope, not at all. I had to go into the PlayStation Store, click on Guardians of the Galaxy, and then it said free. So once you click it, then it's like, oh, you can download the PS5 version of this game since you already own it. Cool. It downloads it, and now you have two versions on your console. You have the PS4 version and the PS5 version. And if you're not paying attention, if you leave both of them on your system and you're not paying attention, you can accidentally click the PS4 version and be playing the PS4 version and not even know it. So my recommendation to all you out there that's watching, go ahead, and once you get the PS5 version of the game, you can feel free to delete the PS4 version. Do that. It'll save you some space on your external hard drive if that's where you keep your PS4 games. It's much better. And then the PS5 version will stay on the internal hard drive, and you're good. But yeah, like I had to hunt down all of them. I had to look them up for one to see if they had a PS5 version of them that I can do for free. Like Devil May Cry 5, it did not. I had to buy a whole new version of Devil May Cry 5. Capcom is lucky that I thoroughly enjoy that game, and I wanted to play it in 4K, and I wanted to play it in 120 hertz because that has 120 hertz mode too. And they are super lucky that that's what I wanted to do because I bought the game again. Luckily, I got it used at GameStop, and it's fine. But like, it's just ridiculous, man. Now, don't get me wrong, not every Xbox game is like that with the smart delivery, or you don't have to pay a fee, or you may not have to buy a whole new version. Some of those games are like that because they come from third parties. But all the first party Microsoft games, you pop the game in, it's like, oh snap, you can get the patch so that you can play the Series X and S version. I love it. So Sony, you might need to work on that for the future. Just tweak that a little bit and make it easier for the gamers to pop their old PS4 games in. If there's a version that's a PS5 version, just say, hey, would you like to download it? That's all I really need. If I pop the game in not expecting it, and you're like, oh no, we got a better patch, let me download this patch, or let me download this version of the game for you, and you're good, I would like that. I would appreciate that, Sony. I've given you a lot of money over the years too, by the way. The design of the system when it's laying horizontal, it's a con. Definitely a con. I don't like the way it looks. So I'm just going to pick this thing up again. So this is what it looks like when it's laying to the side. Now this base will detach and it will go underneath. And as you can see, since it's the disc version, it is not really like even all the way across. So it just looks kind of weird when it's sitting like this. It really feels like it was designed to go this way. And one thing too that lets me know, so underneath this bad boy there is a screw. So you see that screw there? That screw secures it to the bottom of the console. Now when you have it this way, there's nothing to secure it. It just clips to the back. So as you can see, I'll flip it around here, there's nothing but these little grooves here. So the back end of this plate will just grip one of those, and it's not the most sturdy thing in the world. It really isn't. And it looks weird when it's, because of its shape, it just looks odd when you do it that way. But I mean, some some people just have to have it that way because that's the only place they can put it, which is cool. And that would have been me, but I rearranged some stuff and I had to have mine like out. You know, I had the Xbox on this side and the PlayStation on that side, and I think that works better, and I like the aesthetics of it better also. And for me, the ventilation, I couldn't keep it in my cabinet down here because the ventilation, it just wasn't going to work out. It just wasn't going to work out at all, and it was going to heat up in there. It's going to be like a little oven. So, yeah. So there we go. So that's one thing. And I think my tablet just went to sleep on me. Okay, cool. So, not only does that look weird there, so another con is going to be that the storage, like the storage is like mad expensive for it. So if you want to buy extra storage, I mean, it's $219 for like a basic 1 terabyte SSD that's capable, that meets all the specs for the PS5. That's $219, y'all. $219. You remember back in the day, we used to buy the memory cards, man, them James were cheap. Or you remember you could just buy a regular hard drive and pop it in like your PS4 and you can get yourself 2 terabytes and you're good to go. And you spent like $80. Not anymore, y'all. $219 for 1 terabyte SSD to stick inside this thing to give yourself some extra storage. So hopefully throughout the life of this console, we will be able to see the prices drop for these SSDs. I'm hoping so. Because man, I can't afford. I just spent a lot of money on getting both of these systems, so I happened to run across them around the same time. So dropping all that coin, buying controllers to go for it, all that stuff, man, it's expensive, y'all. It's very expensive. But you know, that's what it is now. So I'm trying to hold off and use that internal storage and delete games that are just trial games or games that I'm not gonna like play again. Just try to delete them, so save that space. But yeah, storage space on here is very scarce and it's expensive. So all right, so we talked about the 3D audio along with the Dolby Atmos. That's a con for me. I don't use headphones, and even the people that do use headphones, I hear that it's just okay. Like it's okay, nothing special. So that's definitely a con. And the final one is, earlier in my pros section, I talked about the UI and how I liked how easy it was. I do miss the old cross media bar. Like, I really do miss that from the PS3 and PS4. It was easy to organize your stuff. I felt that it was cleaner. Like, this is pretty clean. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said in the pros, it looks nice, but you can't really organize stuff. So it will show you the last games that you've played. So those are prominent up at the top. But you have to go over to your gallery, like your games library, and then you can see all the games that you have. I don't like that. I like when I could organize my PS4 ones with the cross media bar, when I can just simply put them into folders. Like, I had all my fighting games in one folder, and then I had the rest of the games in another folder. So that was beautiful. Now I have to go hunt for that particular game instead of being able to just go to my fighting game folder and just say, oh, I want to play Street Fighter 5 today, or I want to play Samurai Showdown, or maybe some Dead or Alive 6. I can't do that. Or maybe some Tekken 7. I can't do that. I have to go hunt for them in that list. So, I don't know, man. But that does it for me on the PlayStation 5. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching this portion of the video. And I'm going to kick it back to myself here in a quick second. Peace.
And finally, you would dream where you are now.
All right, y'all. So look, we're gonna talk about some Microsoft Xbox real quick. So this one we're gonna talk about the Series X. So I got the Series X fairly recently, and I've been definitely enjoying it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some pros and cons of this particular system. So what I have over here, I have my cheat sheet over here so I can remember all the points that I want to make. This is definitely not scripted, so I have bullet points, and I'm gonna spit them out to you off the top of the dome on how I feel about them. So first off, we're gonna talk about Xbox Series X Pros. So the first pro is the actual size of the unit. So the PS5 is massive. It's massive. And seeing this size is actually pretty cool. So just gonna pick it up over here. So this is the unit here. So it's not too big. It's not light, but it can fit almost anywhere. Like, and the shape of it allows you to do so. So you can sit it horizontal or you can do it vertical. And it has a built-in base here at the bottom. So it's pretty cool. And one other feature that I enjoy is, like, if you look at the top here, the top it's got the little Xbox little thing. I don't know if you can see the fan in there. You might be able to see the fan. It's a gigantic fan in there, and it keeps the system nice and cool. And I appreciate that. That's one reason why I had to take it out of the cabinet and set it over on the side over here, because it definitely gets warm in there. So since when you sit it horizontal, it blows the air out to one side, and it just creates a little oven inside of the cabinet. So I had to take it out and set it up top. But I do love the size of the unit and the shape of the unit for storage reasons. Like, it's easy to store this thing. And it's kind of, it just blends in. You can have it blend in. Now, I skinned mine blue so that it looked different instead of the matte black finish that it has. But, it's cool. I like, I do enjoy black electronics, but my consoles have always been skinned. So either skinned or plates or whatever. If you can customize it, I'm usually trying to do that. So I like my systems to look a little different. So that's definitely a pro. The size and the versatility of where you can put this bad boy, and because the shape. The next thing is how fast this thing turns on. So with the PS5, it has the standby mode. I hate putting my stuff in standby mode because sometimes in my apartment, the power will randomly go out, especially while I'm at work. I'll come home and, like, the microwave is blinking with the time, or I'll be at work and then my Google, my Google products, because I have the Google Wi-Fi, so it'll let me know that I have no internet. And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what happened. So I look at my Hue lights and I can't connect to it because the bridge is out. So I get random power outages. So I always have to turn completely off the PlayStation. But even when you turn off the Xbox, it's still kind of in a sleep mode, which is kind of cool. You can unplug this bad boy while it's running and you won't get any errors. But sometimes the PlayStation, I can unplug it while it is off, move it, or adjust something, plug it back in, and it tells me that I unplugged it improperly. Pain in the butt. So yes, Xbox, the boot up time, no matter what state it's in, is like super quick, and I love it. So that's definitely a pro. Let's see. Oh, the controller. So the controller is very comfortable and very familiar. So I've had Xbox systems since the very first Xbox on up to now, and I would have to say that the Xbox One controller and this series controller are my favorite Xbox controllers. Some people love the 360 one. I hated the D-pad. Absolutely hated the D-pad on that thing. The D-pad is not spectacular here, but it's much better than that 360 one. So this is the Xbox Series X controller. I have it in blue and this is the inspiration of the blue skin that I have there. So I do enjoy the fact that it's very familiar. Like it feels like a warm, comfy blanket that you've had forever. You just cover up under it and you play some games. Everything is pretty much the same. Like the layout is the same. It's comfortable and familiar. The rumble is a little bit more precise on this one. I feel like it's tighter on this controller. It's not PlayStation 5 levels because it's not necessarily a haptic feedback. It's more of a rumble. And this, before the PlayStation 5 controller, was my favorite controller as far as the rumble was concerned. And this is definitely made for first-person shooters and racing games. Like the way the controller's designed and the asymmetrical analog stick layout, definitely made for that. So controller, definitely a pro. It feels familiar. I picked it right up and I knew exactly what to do. It was awesome. So quick resume is pretty cool. So quick resume is when you can have a game, like you've been playing a game, all into it, and you're like, you know what, I needed to check on such and such. Like let's say you were playing Call of Duty, because a lot of people do. Let's say, oh man, I need to check in and see my stats or whatever. You can put the game in suspension and then move over to another game if it supports the quick resume, and you can bounce back and forth at the same state that they're in. So it's awesome. Like you could just bounce back and forth between multiple games. You can play 30 minutes of one game, jump over to the next one, finish up where you left off, jump back to the other one. Pretty cool. I do enjoy that feature. They don't have that on PlayStation 5, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. That is a Xbox exclusive feature. So quick resume, definitely a pro. Let's see what we got here. Oh man, old Game Pass. So when I had my Xbox One X, I told myself I don't really need Game Pass because I'm just gonna get the exclusives. I'm just gonna buy the exclusives when they come out. When I got the Series X and it had the $1 trial for it, so you can pay $1 and you get it for a whole month, I was like, okay, I can get down with that. So I did that, did the little trial, and I've been playing games that I never thought I would even give a shot on this thing, and I've enjoyed it. Like The Medium. I don't know if you guys have heard of The Medium, but The Medium is a pseudo survival horror type, psychological thriller type game. And I probably would have never purchased that unless I found it like stupid cheap at GameStop, or maybe Best Buy was having a bomb sale on something. But I was able to play it on Game Pass, and I was able to just go ahead and beat it. So now I can say that I've played through The Medium. And I started Psychonauts 2. I would have never purchased Psychonauts or Psychonauts 2. And now I get to play Psychonauts 2. And it's in 120 hertz, man. 120 frames a second on that game. It looks phenomenal. So these are some things that I would have never tried. Like Dirt 5. I would have never tried Dirt 5. But PlayStation had it for free also. But, I got to try it on Game Pass. And it was pretty cool. That's another game you could do 120 hertz. So you get to experiment with stuff. Game Pass is a super duper value proposition there. So I may never buy a physical game for this machine. I may only do Game Pass stuff. But I will, when Gears, like if they make another Gears game, I probably will buy that because I like to have the physical copy of the series that I like, so I probably will own that. But for the most part, all my stuff will probably come from either the digital store or come from Game Pass. I'm just telling the truth. Game Pass is awesome. It's like Netflix but for video games. You get to play whatever you want that's on the platform. It's pretty cool. And their games, like their Microsoft exclusive games, like first party games, are day on day one on Game Pass. I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So, Game Pass, another pro, a major pro actually. The AV options, man, they make the AV options on this thing make the PlayStation look like it was done in 2005, man. I swear that, like, the options they have on this thing. So for one, it does Dolby Atmos in games, and it does Dolby Vision in games, and it does 120 hertz, and it can detect what your TV does. So once you plug it up, you can let it tell you what it discovered and what your TV can do. And if you choose Dolby Vision Gaming, it disables 120 hertz. So you can't do both at the same time, but you can do one or the other. And man, I just love all the options that they give you. And they have like a little calibration thing in there so you can calibrate your TV to make it look right. You remember those old THX discs that people used to get? You could put them in your Blu-ray player and it gives you like the THX sign, and you can adjust the contrast to it and the brightness, and you can put the little filter glasses on there that filter out blue so you can see. Man, this has it. It has it. It has stuff like that, and I appreciate Xbox for that. Dolby Vision in games looks pretty good. I'd rather have 120 hertz, so I had to turn that feature off. But the HDR10 that it does have, it looks fine. It looks beautiful. And the Dolby Atmos, man. Dolby Atmos in games. Playing Gears 5 with Dolby Atmos, it's nothing like it. Nothing like it, y'all. Like, those with Dolby Atmos systems playing on the Xbox is a treat, because you get the sound and the picture the way you would want it to be. You have the options to do all this stuff. PlayStation, we don't have that option. You just have pretty much what they give you. Is like, oh well, I mean, if you got a surround sound, I mean, we do Dolby surround. You know, like it's 2009. You know, we roll like that. So I don't know, man. It's a little disappointing on the PlayStation side, but I am glad I do have one system that can do such things. So yes, Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision for gaming is a definite pro. So let's see. Oh, the Design Center for the controllers. So they've had Design Center for a while. Microsoft has had this for a grip, but it's really, like, I just want to point that out to people who didn't know. So Xbox, you can go to xbox.com and then go to the Design Center for your controller, and you can customize your controller. So this one I just bought straight off the shelf, as you know, it's blue, so I just bought it as it was. But you can go in there and customize this thing. So you can customize the front plate, you can customize like the back section. See the section that's white here, you can customize that. You can customize the color of the bumpers and this strip across the top here. You can customize the buttons, in any of the colors they have available, and you can come up with some crazy button combinations and color combinations to make your controller your own. You can even get like your name engraved on there, like they even put the little insignia of it on the back. Man, I mean, come on, man, that stuff is cool. I appreciate stuff like that. I probably will end up getting myself, like, I will keep this standard blue controller, you know, the regular one, and then I may end up customizing my own controller and using that one instead of the standard black one that comes with it. This one is the player one controller, so this is the one I use like all the time, unless the battery is dead and I just got to switch it out, or I could just pop another battery in here. But I use that one primarily, so I may switch and get a super cool customized controller, make that my number one, and use this one as a secondary controller. Who knows? Time is of the essence. I got time though. I got time to decide what I want to do. But yes, the game center, the Design Center is actually really, really dope, and I appreciate it. So that's definitely a pro. Let's see here. Smart delivery, boy. I pop in Xbox One game in this bad boy, and if there is a Xbox Series version available, it will go ahead and give it to me. No questions asked. I don't have to worry about nothing. I don't have to go into the store and find out if it's, nope. If it's there, it'll give it to me. PlayStation, not so much. But that is a definite plus. So if you're not sure, you just pop it in, and it will let you know if they have a patch for it, or if it's gives you better frame rates. You can even go into the menu and see what kind of things it'll give you too. So there's a section, if you hit the button, I guess that's the menu button on there. If you hit the menu button when you're highlighting one of the games, you can go into the game options and you can look at if that game, if you can activate like better frame rates or auto HDR or something of that nature. And then they have the ones that will just give you the Xbox Series version of that game. Pretty dope, but it's just easy, unlike PlayStation. So let's see what we got here. That's definitely a pro, by the way. Let's see, we got that. Oh, the expansion for storage. So it's easy. It's not cheap, but it is easy. So what you have to do, you have to go out and buy a Xbox Series little, it's almost like a little memory card. It's like they took it back to the old school and it almost looks just like a little memory card. So I'll show you where you put that. So on your unit, you flip over to the back, there is a storage spot, and it is right here. You can see it. Hopefully the camera will focus on that. So that's where you would put that, and that's pretty much it. Like, you just pop it in, the system will recognize it, and then you're golden. Like, you're good, and now you can start putting games on it. They do warn you and say that not all games will play off of the expansion, but I don't know, you know how the internet is. I haven't heard too many games that won't. So, you know, if there was one game that didn't, the internet would definitely let you know that it didn't play. So far so good. But that's also pretty expensive. But you can pop one of those back in. They make it easy. It's proprietary. It's the only one you can get. I think right now they only have the 1 terabyte, maybe the 2 terabyte just came out or is close to coming out. But right now it's just the 1 terabyte one that you can purchase, and it's like $220. And you just pop it in the back, and then you got extra storage. You don't have to take anything apart. So I do think that's pretty cool, especially for people who are nervous to take apart a system. All right, so we talked a little bit about backwards compatibility in the smart delivery, but yeah, the backwards compatibility features are pretty awesome. Like, you can go all the way back to the original Xbox and pop in an original Xbox game, and it'll play Xbox 360 game. It's pretty dope. And then when you play it pretty much turns the system into an Xbox 360, and it gives you that logo when you first start up the game. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. It pulls out the heartstrings a little bit, because I remember playing those 360 games back in the day and playing the original Xbox. By the way, the original Xbox is ranked up there for me. It may be not number one, but it's way up there. It's one of my favorite systems of all time. Like, that original Xbox was so revolutionary, bruh. Like, I know there are a bunch of Xbox haters out there, and look, I understand. Make your jokes, but that original Xbox was no freaking joke. It was the first thing with a hard drive. You could save music to it. You could use that music in certain games that had custom soundtracks. Like, that system paved the way to what we are used to now. That thing was on point. The only negative thing about that original Xbox, you had to buy a stupid DVD remote just to play DVDs. That was dumb. But they made up for it with everything else. The hard drive space, the games some of the games could actually do 720p or 1080i when the PS2 was still running off regular old composite cables and crap. Like, that Xbox was ahead of its time, man, and I appreciated every second of it. All right, enough of that. But yes, that backwards compatibility is very cool on the Xbox Series systems. So, oh well, you can't really do it on the Series if you have a disc. You would just have to download from the Microsoft Store, the Microsoft Store. You have to download it there. But if you have the Series X, then you can definitely just pop in a disc and let it ride, because the other one's a digital only console, so can't do that. Dynamic themes, dog. So I absolutely love dynamic themes on the PS4. So they have them now on the Xbox. So you can get a dynamic theme, so your theme for your home screen can move, has animations and sound effects. It's dope. I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that, and it makes me sad that Sony got rid of it for the PS5, but I have it with the Xbox. So that is definitely a pro for me. And a controller battery life, dog. This controller. So right now, I have, instead of using the stupid old AA batteries, I have a battery pack. I bought a battery pack. So the battery pack came along with the charger that I have. So it's a little dock you just sit your controllers on. So it has little pieces in there. So how that all works is that inside when you first buy the controller, when you first get the system, it comes with AA batteries. Now those AA batteries I think are dumb, but the AA batteries will last you a long time. Like, no joke. They will just last you a very long time. And it's pretty cool. You can just switch them out whenever you need to. But having the battery pack, I think the battery pack will just give me more. Like, I don't charge this thing that much. I can play a bunch of games like all week and I'm still good. I may lose like 1 bar, and that's awesome. And I know why, but because it doesn't have the adaptive triggers like the PS5. But at the same time, the PS4 didn't have it either, and their battery life was pretty terrible. And Xbox Series, Xbox One X and One, they had just regular, pretty much the same controller, and that battery life was stellar. You use that thing for like 2 weeks straight, and it's Gucci. But PlayStation, not so much. But I do enjoy it. That's definitely a pro with this controller. The battery life is excellent. And I think that ends my pros section of this video. So we're just gonna do a little chatting about the cons of the system. It's not too many of them, but there are some. So the design of this system is plain. Let me pull it out again so you can see it. So if you take a look at this thing, it's a rectangle, like, on all sides. Look at that blank side. Got a disk drive and a button and maybe some little buttons here, and then it's blank on that side. And then on the back, you got all your ports. That's it. The coolest design thing I told you is the little grid here at the top. That's the coolest design thing. So, I mean, it looks like a mini fridge, and so much so they even made a mini fridge. Target was selling a mini fridge, Xbox Series X mini fridge. It looks just like a mini, like a Xbox Series X, but it's an actual mini fridge, and that's what it looks like. So it's kind of plain, and it's matte black. So while I enjoy those things, I wanted something with a little pop to it. So I guess Microsoft said, "Hey, bro, if you want a little pop of color, get yourself a skin." And that's exactly what I did. So hey, it's all good, Microsoft. I prefer black electronics. So you did exactly what I asked. I can't be mad at you. But yeah, the design is really plain. Like, that thing just blends right on in. People won't even notice that it's there. Like the PlayStation, that joint says, "Look at me, dog. Look at me, dog. Like, I'm a beast, dog." The Xbox is like, I mean, I'm a beast, but I'm gonna sit back here in the corner. I'm gonna, just watch the room, you know what I mean? That's what the Xbox does. And that's cool. I wanted a little splash of color. But the design, to me, is definitely a con. Like, it's a pro and a con. So I gave you the reasons why it is a pro, and then I also gave you the reasons why it is a con. So moving on to the next thing. Lack of first-party heavy hitters at launch. Yes. Now, I know people will say, yo, the PlayStation ain't have a bomb launch joint either. But Ratchet and Clank, bruh, Miles Morales, Dark Souls, if you're into just getting your butt whooped all the time in a game, like, at least there were some. I can't even pull one off the top of the dome that was Forza a launch one? I don't even know. Y'all tell me in the comments. I can't remember one that was a definite launch title for the Xbox Series X. I cannot think of it, and I know that's bad, and I know I shouldn't be on YouTube talking this stuff if I can't remember one of those things. But you know, people gonna probably flame me in the comments if y'all decide to leave a comment. And my tablet went to sleep. So yeah, I can't remember one, but that hurt. If it wasn't for Game Pass though, like Game Pass saved that. So even though you don't have a like killer app right there at launch, you still have Game Pass that you can at least try out some games or play the ones that are available. I appreciate that, but that is definitely a con that they didn't have like heavy hitters at the very beginning, because Halo was supposed to release with it, but it got delayed and got delayed and got delayed. So hey, it is what it is. Let's see. Oh man, so back to this controller. The controller, the D-pad on it. So I want you to look at that. You can see that D-pad. So the D-pad is almost like a dinner plate. Look at it. It looks like a dinner plate. So it's okay, but it's still not great for fighting games. What they did was they took the D-pad, they kind of made a D-pad like the one on the Pro controller, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan. It doesn't feel good when playing fighting games. The PlayStation controller, their D-pad is great for fighting games to me. Some people may disagree, and that's fine. That's fine. Some people are weirdos and use the analog stick in a fighting game. Who the heck does that? But I know there are people out there that use the analog stick that prefer that. But I'm not a big fan of the D-pad. And I usually play my fighting games on the PlayStation exclusively. But Killer Instinct is not available for the PlayStation. So I play that game. I played that game. I ran that game into the ground. I love some Killer Instinct, boy. Good God Almighty. That was one of my favorite game series back in the day. And then this version of it is tremendous. I love it. So struggling, not really struggling, but playing that on the Xbox One was okay, because it was like a standard D-pad almost, and it was all right. Like, it'll wear your fingers out because of how high and how sharp the edges are for those for that D-pad. But this one it's all right. It's all right, but it's still gonna be considered a con. So while I'm on cons on the controller, another controller con is how loud the freaking buttons are. Like, you're sitting in a silent room. Let's say you got your headphones on. Let's say you're in the room with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your spouse, your partner, whatever you want to call it, your dog. Who cares? You're sitting in a room with somebody. You got your headphones on because you want to hear the game, but you don't want to disturb them. All they are going to hear is this. That's all they're gonna hear, dog. That's all they're gonna hear. Like, why is it like it's always been like this? The Xbox buttons are always like extra loud, and I don't know. Even if you're doing precise movements, to others it sounds like you're just slapping buttons, and it is ridiculous. Like I'm just hitting the B button right now, and I can see it on the mic on the camera is like Because it's a loud noise. It's ridiculous. And the D-pad makes noise. The analogs don't really make noise. The buttons, the bumpers, and the triggers don't really make noise. But the bumpers do a little bit. But these main buttons and that D-pad, bro, insane. Them joints are loud. And I don't know why they're so daggone loud. Oh, and the last con for the controller is that it comes with AA batteries. Man, we in 2022. This thing came out over a year ago. So, we're in 2022 now. Why does Microsoft still ship AA batteries with a controller? I paid $500 for this system. I paid $70 for the controller. Why do I have to use AA batteries? Can you please at least just, if you want to use a replaceable battery, at least just give us a Microsoft branded one. Like I have a Microsoft branded one now, not in here, but I had one for my Xbox One controllers. Just go ahead and just give us a rechargeable battery, man. Come on, man. Can I get that? Can I get that rechargeable battery instead of AA batteries? Like AA batteries? They last a while, but it's still dumb to me. Still dumb. It almost makes it feel like a toy instead of a sophisticated piece of technology using AA batteries, bro. Anyway, don't like that. The Xbox dashboard is also another con. I hate that it's just a bunch of trash all over the screen. Like I've rearranged mine so that it just gives me the main things that I need, and I'm glad they give you that option. On the Xbox One, you didn't really have too many options on customizing. Towards the end of its life cycle, it did, but in the early days of the Xbox One, stuff everywhere. It's just advertisements here. Check out this game from the store. And then you get lost in all the menus. And then you hit the bumper and then you can move to the next set of menus. It was trash. They cleaned it up a little bit here, but it's still not my favorite interface. PlayStation has a better interface to me. But I'm glad you can at least customize it. But it still goes as a con on the cons list for me. Let's see. The storage expansion is expensive. I don't even need to say anymore, bro. It's just expensive. It's super expensive. $219 for essentially a memory card. I mean, it does hold games, like full games, but we just gotta wait for these prices of solid state drives to drop, and then that type of memory will become cheaper. So we just gotta sit back and hope that it does. But I know I'm gonna eventually end up getting one, probably more so for the PlayStation than I will for the Xbox. But since we're talking about the Xbox, I probably will end up getting one, just because I know games are huge. And then if I'm like racking up games on this Game Pass thing and buying games like when the next Gears come out, or when the next Hellblade comes out, I gotta have that. So I'm probably gonna need some more storage space. I probably will eventually end up getting one, but man, it's expensive. It's expensive. All right, so this is a con for both of these next generation or now current generation systems. The storage space is pretty low, and I know why they did it, because the solid state drive storage is expensive. So the cost of the machine would have probably skyrocketed if they would have put 2 terabytes in there. But we don't even get 1 terabyte of usable space in either console. You get a little bit more on the Xbox. I think you get like 800 gigs, and 800 and some change gigs on the Xbox, while you get like 6 something on the PS5. The PS5 has better compression technology, which can kind of make up for it. So they're almost evenly matched using their compression technology and the lack of it on the Xbox. But dude, you don't even get a full terabyte on that bad boy. And like Call of Duty games are like 120 gigs, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I remember a buddy of mine gave me Halo 5 for the Xbox One, and I said, you know what? I get motion sickness with first-person shooters, but I was gonna give it a shot because everybody loves Halo. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. I'll pop some Dramamine or put my little wristbands on and try to like muscle through it, bro. That jank was like 110 gigs. I was like, I don't know. And then fast forward to today, like these patches, these HD patches that come out, like the 4K patches and stuff. Oh my God, it will murder your hard drive. So you may be able to get like 6 solid games on this thing before it's no more space. Nah, that's not enough, man. That's definitely not enough. And I know they would, like I said, the price would have skyrocketed if they'd put a 2 terabyte hard drive in there. But I mean, dude, it's crazy. You got to manage your. It's like playing Resident Evil. You got to manage your inventory. So you get a new game, you're like, oh crap, but I need this game. So you got to delete another game to move that game in the inventory slot, just like playing Resident Evil, like classic Resident Evil. It's a shame. It's a shame we have to do that. Play musical chairs with our video games because of storage. But anyway, that's definitely a con. Lack of storage space on these devices. Let's see. I think that might be it, y'all. Crazy. Yeah. It's I think that's a good little list of cons. So I'm gonna call it right here on the pros and cons of the Xbox Series X. I do enjoy the system. I like playing the games on it. I'm feeling that Game Pass. It's powerful as crap. I enjoy it. So thank y'all for watching this section of the video. Peace. Oh, hey, I see you back already. So hopefully that helped you out if you were wondering the pros and cons of having both systems. I mean, I enjoy them both. Right now, I'm sitting here on the Xbox Series X playing Killer Instinct that came out on the Xbox One. It's updated. It has they upgraded to 4K. It has the auto HDR, so it gives a little HDR pop to it. I mean, I think it's awesome. I mean, Chucky likes it. I'm getting my revenge. He beat me in Street Fighter, but I'm kind of smoking him now in some Killer Instinct because that's an old school classic right there. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, share if you know other people that are trying to decide which system to get, if they can get their hands on either one. So thank you guys for watching, and the usual, stay safe out there. Peace. All right, man, let's get back into it. For the budget enthusiast.